7:44, good morning to you. Let's see what's making the papers for you this morning with former advisor to Michael Gove, Charlie Rowley, and the spectacular writer and commentator, Candice Holdsworth. Good morning to you. I'm being serious, don't laugh at me.
With the most beautiful baby bump.
Oh, thanks.
As well. There's technically 3 paper reviewers at this
yes, there is.
at the table with us.
All right, let's talk about using... I'm very excited about mobile phones at the minute because I've just got my new one, so as I've been boring you all with in the break. But what I won't be doing is using it at the wheel, Charlie.
Well, if you did, you'd be part of the percentage increase in the number of people that are being caught using their mobile phone behind the wheel. Up 93%. It was about 19,000 people caught last year. It is now up to 38,000. So a significant increase in people who are clearly on their phone behind the wheel.
I mean, what are they playing at? I see people do it. It's ridiculous. It's not safe. Don't do it.
Well, totally. And, you know, the law was changed in 2002, banning the use of mobile phones, 2002, 2003, I think it was. But people have been getting off the hook, if I can put it like that, because they're claiming, whilst they've been using it, that they're not using it for interactive or for communicative purposes. So now the law has been changed that you don't just have to be on the phone physically talking to someone. It is about texting, it's about sort of being on social media whilst behind the wheel. So people have been getting let off for using their mobile phone behind the wheel, but now they're being clamped down upon, and that's why we're seeing this increase.
Mind you, I'll tell you what I do for Krishnan Guru Murthy of Channel 4 News has just been fined, hasn't he, for using his phone at the wheel? But I mean, and he's admitted it all fine. But what he said was, I didn't realise the rules because he was using it. I was
just about to ask that.
Yeah, he was using it whilst the vehicle was stationary, which just seemed like a little bit of overkill.
Yes.
If you're stationary, why can't you check something?
Yes. Yeah, I'm unsure on the rules because I have a mount on my car that I put the phone on, and then I use maps.
Yes.
To get me places, and I would tap the screen to change the map. Am I allowed to do that?
Well, I think hands-free is obviously, you know, so you've got both hands on the wheel more often than not whilst you're instead of looking at a map physically. So that's why you've got those sort of car accessories. But also, I think it's the concentration level. So, you know, if you're sort of parking, stopping, going again, looking at your phone, you know, your concentration levels drop, and it makes you a less safe driver, I think, on the roads.
It's so easy to underestimate that as well, just how distracted you can be. And, you know, you're so busy focusing on that, and then something happens suddenly and you can't react to it. And it has such catastrophic consequences, so maybe they do really need to get strict on it.
And even in comparison to sort of 10 years ago, you know, when that law sort of first came in, you know, we live by our phones now. Everything is through a mobile phone device, even more so than what it was back then. So with, you know, social media and obviously just, you know, the amount of work you can do on a phone, you don't actually need a laptop or a tablet or anything like that. So people are using their phones constantly throughout their day. It's an attachment and part of their lives, so easily to be distracted whilst you're on the go in a car.
I was in a nail salon the other day. I spent a lot of time in a nail salon. But there was a girl in there, really silly girl, who had been videoing herself, I imagine for TikTok or something, driving down the street, and she's clipped all the cars down one side of the street. She was so distracted.
Oh, my God.
I mean, some people are just stupid when it comes to using...
And she still put that on TikTok?
Well, I don't know if she put it on TikTok, but she was telling everyone in the nail salon about it. But she's wrote off her car, and probably several others.
Well, if people want to kill themselves doing these things, fine. It's when it's the other people, the innocent.
Imagine if she was doing that on a motorway. Oh, my goodness.
Candice, can we have a look at the Times and the Martin Bashir Princess Diana scandal is rearing its head again?
Oh, yes, So, this is in the Times. So there's been a Freedom of Information request and certain messages that have come out between BBC execs, particularly the ones who were actually concerned with releasing information to the public about this. And they were joking about the Princess Diana scandal, and they were saying that, will they get a knighthood for this service, and just being very trivial about it. I think it was specifically related to emails between Martin Bashir and producers about these alleged forged documents, which people are saying that he used to sort of trick her into the interview. And a judge has criticised the BBC execs, these data protection lawyers, for being very inconsistent and erroneous with releasing information about it. They've really, you know, they've tried hard not to get it out. And so I think people get irritated when they see messages like this, sort of joking around about it, because it is so serious, you know. If it is true that, you know, she was not coerced, but sort of
conned.
Conned into doing this interview, then we need to know about it.
I would agree, though I am slightly torn in that people do joke in this sort of business. People do joke about things which are serious because it's how you keep your sanity. Sometimes, but nevertheless, it never comes across well in something like this.
It's difficult to know how we can ever really get to the bottom of this now, especially with so much time having passed. I mean, the BBC execs in question, they're long gone, aren't they? Many of them retired. Some probably aren't even with us anymore.
Yeah, I think that's right. And, you know, as you're saying, Stephen, about those messages, there's always context to be had, whether it was joking or whether it was sort of, you know, more serious. But you're right, it's always, you know, it's never necessarily always the crime, if I can use that word, but always the cover-up. And I think, you know, whether there are big lawyers involved or whether it's the people at the top of the post office who knew things that were going on in big institutions, you know, whether it's the BBC, say, or the post office, it's the cover-up of things that I think really, you know, grinds my gears, and I'm sure it does the rest of the public as well.
Because they seem to just act in the interest of their corporation. You know, that's who they're protecting.
But isn't that their job?
It is their job. It is their job. But then when you look at it in the whole, in the round, and you think, well, actually, you know, is the reputation of that corporation more important than justice in the wider sense?
Yeah, well, look, I'll tell you what makes it different for the BBC is we own it and we pay for it. Well, I don't know if we do technically own it, but we certainly pay for it.
Yes.
We certainly pay for it. Well, so that makes it different.
And now that we know that this was a massive scandal, as you say, you know, the Princess Diana was, you know, coerced effectively into doing this interview under false pretences, and it was a huge scandal and still is today. So we have an absolute right to know about it, I think.
Absolutely. And we know how passionately Prince William and Prince Harry feel about this as well, don't they? I mean, they would say...
William particularly.
William especially, would say that it fed into her paranoia in her final months and years.
I mean, I'd say that not to throw any shade on Prince Harry on this, but only that they did use a clip or something, didn't they, from in that Netflix documentary? Or they did something, didn't they, with it? Whereas obviously William had said it should never be aired again. Anyway, right, let's have a look at Charlie, The Guardian, should we? English councils are out of control, so as a result, we've got to stump up £4 billion extra.
Yes, so this follows on from a call last week from MPs that wrote to, I think, the Secretary of State for Levelling Up, appealing for more cash. It's Michael Gove.
There's a surprise.
And my former employer. And he has obviously received these letters, this campaign from MPs to stump up more cash for councils who are on the brink of financial difficulties. And I think we're now at a situation where this particular £4 billion by the Select Committee, the Levelling Up Select Committee, have said is urgently needed because it is now at a point where there are good councils that are operating on good financial sounding. They are at risk now. It's not just those who haven't spent wisely. You know, there are a number of councils, Nottinghamshire County Council, Birmingham City, you know, Slough, Liverpool. They've all gone into administration. They've all had to have commissioners go in to sort out their finances. That is because of bad councillors not knowing how to manage their finances properly. No, you can't just keep giving money to those organisations where they're not spending taxpayers' money wisely. But when there are councils that are now overstretched because of the amount of services they provide, it's about schools, it's about social care, it's about filling the potholes. They do a number of things in the community. Good councils under good financial management that are now having to find shortfalls, I think, will be very worrying for the public and local communities.
I think that's a very fair point. Look, in order to bring some balance, we have had a response from the BBC in regards to that story about executives laughing about the Diana scandal. Yeah, this is about the Diana Panorama interview. The BBC says, throughout this process, we have taken our responsibilities to comply with the directions of the tribunal extremely seriously. We have worked to provide relevant material throughout this lengthy process, which has involved extensive archive and record searches spanning nearly 30 years. We've also accepted and apologised when errors have been made and taken extensive steps to rectify those errors. Oh, there you go. So that's that statement there from the BBC says about it all. I want to leave us with this, because we talk about all stuff that matters, don't we? And we are the People's Channel, and it's all about what matters to you. And Sam has been in touch. I think we might need to meet Sam at some point, because Sam says, whilst not very important in terms of global news, it's an important day for me. Please please wish me luck in my financial advice exam today. Oh. I'll let you know if I pass. You might need me on a panel one day.
Oh.
And we might. But actually, we need more people, actually, who really know how to help us with our finances, because it's increasingly complicated.
I agree. I think so. I mean, you know, as I've gotten older as well, I really think, you know, consumer protection is so important, and the personal touch.
Yes.
You know, I would like an actual personal financial advisor. I mean, you have all these apps where you have to make these huge investment decisions, but I think people would actually like to have a personal relationship with someone.
Yeah, someone you can have a conversation with.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? Sam, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Sending you lots of good luck.
Good
wishes today. You will smash it. And we'll see you on this panel one day, I think.
We will. In the meantime, let's get a check on the weather with Aidan.